it's that time again. Video and such. So I guess we'll deal with 3 different videos, but I think they're all tied together in terms of subject. Yeah. Let's talk about reality and the fact that there is one, and it's just sitting out there in front of us to be described. We're part of something, and this something is describable. And I don't think most of these people know how to describe it very well. And that's a problem. Because there is something at stake. You know, there's all these sentient beings and their welfare and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, Hotfoot Day. I won't bother playing his video. Make a bigger icon. Rather distinctly, ethics, definitions, rationality, and reason. A game theory. So anyway, it's just... he doesn't even understand the concept here at all. So game theory is basically a way of approaching a contest, you know, between 2 individuals. So it's game theory might be called strategies in actually playing games, but in ethics, there's no equal power. There isn't 2 teams with the same number of players, and you can calculate because there's a limited amount of variables, and you can make a calculation to what outcomes will be. No, in real life, ethics is about when you have all the power or when you have no power. Ethics is about what you do when no one's watching. Ethics is about what you do, again, when there's no repercussion, the other team doesn't have 12 players. You know, when there's an imbalance of power, that's when ethics are important. So this game theory stuff is just strategy for contest. And ethics is about what's the best solution. That's ethics. Ethics is doing the right thing. Not the right thing for you. The right thing. And he doesn't get that. He thinks ethics is about your advantage. You do what is in your advantage, and they do what's in their advantage, and somehow that works all out, even though you have a gun and they have a bow and arrow. Or they don't even have a bow and arrow. You know, they got they got an empty hand, you know, with a callus. Yeah, that's when ethics are important. So, to say he's way off the subject, that he doesn't even understand the concept, is to understate just how preposterously out of the game of ethics he is with this nonsense about game theory. So anyway, enough. I've wasted time because I didn't realize he didn't understand the whole concept of ethics, and it's about right and wrong. It's not about right and wrong for you. Yeah, no, it isn't. So that's why he doesn't get it. And he doesn't understand that in most circumstances in life, there is not a balance of power, and there is not equal intelligence, and there is not equal capacity. And that's why we need ethics. It's like Grandpa can't defend himself if you want to throw him in the nursing home. He doesn't have any power. What's he going to do, fart on you? So you need ethics to understand when it's okay to throw him in the loony bin or the nut house. Exactly, what's the power of the crazy people in the nut house? Should they all protest and not be crazy? Yeah, the whole protest is saying, we're not going to be crazy for a whole week. That'll get you. Yeah, what's their power? Oh, that's right, they don't have any. Anyway, it's just too fucking stupid to have to, I mean, really. Go to, whatever, KittyTube or something. I mean, you're way, frankly, I don't know, maybe you have a tumor. Maybe there's some excuse for you being this way off subject. But you're so far fucking off subject. It's just incredible. I didn't want to say you're an imbecile because I didn't think you were an imbecile. But fuck, you're a fucking imbecile if you think ethics is game theory. You're a fucking imbecile. Alright, anyway, Anticontavat. Oh, it's got another one. Yeah, it's this one, I guess. So, yeah, let's bring that one up. I am going to get to the chick, so I'll get to her. Yeah, see is a little bit charming. Speaks very well too. Very nice. But anyway, we'll start with this guy. So in overview here, let me just back it up a little. We'll just play the last, whatever, 3 minutes or 4 minutes, whatever it is. So as this is routine now, he's doing this West versus East thing. So he's just classifying science and every other kind of philosophy into one pigeonhole group. So he's just pigeonholing the fuck out of people. This is a guy who won't accept certain labels, and yet he'll pigeonhole the fuck out of everybody else. Just throw him in a label. Westerner, Easterner, blah, 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 blah. And it's just such a crock of shit. And so it's just more of this babble about, you know, he even has a little part in here where he says, oh, and the Indian women are so beautiful. And, you know, and you say that about every fucking country, right? The women are so beautiful, right? Yeah, I mean, we could go and say, you know, there are certain ethnicities maybe not so charming, but most are kind of charming, especially the exceptional ones of that ethnicity are quite exceptionally charming and all that kind of crap. And it's just such a, you know, it's just more of the manipulation, like, you know, just make it all some sort of emotional bullshit. And that's all it is emotional bullshit. Why don't you talk about how fat their asses are? Anyway, never mind. So I don't know, it's so hard to paraphrase this, but you know, he's just doing some more of this stuff like, oh, well, yeah, there are these fanatics that believe life is futile and stupid, and that's like being really devoted to the religion, but most of the people just say fuck you to Buddha and say fuck you to the religion and just say, I'm just going to live a wishy-washy, stupid life anyway. And so because most people are sellouts, basically, have no real principles, and are just horny and hungry little bastards, and selfish fucks, therefore selfishness wins. It's the way we all should be. And that's, you know, again, he doesn't know what the word ethics mean. He doesn't understand the concept of value, and he certainly has no respect for the idea that, you know, there are facts, and they point to things as being true. Evolution is a collection of facts that point to a truth about our origin. And this guy will take no account. He'll call it scientism. You know, if you take evolution serious, you're a scientismist. Yeah, you're a fanatic. And look what he gets here. He gets 8 thumbs up, right, from the atheist community, talking fucktarded rubbish. You know, about how people living in shit have got it right. The country's a shithole. It really is.
You know, when you see how people actually live their lives, they're not really in a hurry to get out of here, and that's why I think the Jains have always...
Right. So the fact that we live our lives as desperate, fearful creatures means that we've endorsed the game. Means that we're just so fucking, you know, we would subject ourselves to the risk we subject others to. Yeah, because we don't outlaw dangerous coal mines, it means that we wouldn't mind being a coal miner. Yeah, we know the truth, right? People are just doing it because it's to their convenience, because they have the power that will force somebody to crawl into a little fucking hole to dig out a diamond for their engagement ring, and they just won't give a fuck. And that's the truth.
Remained as sort of a fringe group, and the Brahma Kumaris are, well, you ask most Indians about them, and most Indian people will just go...
Right. And that means something. Most Indian people say... should I make a bumper sticker? Most Indian people say, and I'm going to be impressed with the popular opinion in India. Okay, so this is a country where there had to be huge protests, okay, by women to get an obscenely public rape and murder actually charged and tried. So a gang rape and murder that basically everybody knew happened, no doubt about it, they had to have a huge protest to have a trial. And so you're telling me that this means something. No, it doesn't mean shit. Okay? They're obviously, the majority of Indians are obviously fucktarded ass wipes.
You know, they're harmless enough, but their ideas are pretty crazy. You know?
Yeah, well, I guess the idea that you can go raping women on a bus and murdering them, throwing them out the fucking door, I guess the idea that that should be, we'll give them a buy on that. They were just a little randy that day. They're men, you know. They're entitled. Fuck you.
I don't think that their ideas are any crazier than any other religions, to be perfect.
Yeah, or even your silly, wishy-washy idea. So again, all ideas are equal. See, so it's another statement where, oh yeah, well, evolution's just a theory. You know, we don't have to take any of this science stuff seriously. We're not discovering a truth here. No, we're all just playing some weaselly psycho game, right? It's all about some psychology. I mean, you're just so fucking owned by your fucking psychology. I mean, you're fucking psychologically masturbating, okay, on YouTube. This is psychological masturbation. Okay, and if it was real masturbation, I'd say it might be worth watching. But frankly, psychological masturbation is fucking gross.
Yeah, but that's just one of the interesting juxtapositions that one comes across when studying Hinduism. Or
Yes, it's just so fascinating, so fucking interesting that this sect does this and this sect does that. It's just so unlike the Catholics or the Christians as a collection of 2,000 different versions of Christianity, where some of them have magic orbs in them and some of them have smoking urns and some of them go to hell and some of them become potato farmers, and yes, they all just make up a stupid fucking idiotic fairy tale. So, and then assholes like you sit there and say, well, it's no worse than any other idea. It's no less valid. Fuck you.
the Indic faiths. Do they hate phenomenal reality, or do they love it? Or do they do both at the same time?
Yeah, or do they just recognize what it actually is and not worry about hate and love and just worry about, does it work or does it not work? Does it kill too many people? Does it does it maim and injure and torture too many animals and creatures and humans and things? Or doesn't it? Why don't they just ask a rational question instead of some fucking irrational question about, well, do I feel hungry today? Or do I have cancer today? And now I'll answer the question based on what condition I'm in. Because I'm too stupid to figure out that, oh yeah, the overview of life is about a whole lot of collections of experiences, a whole lot of days, a whole lot of weeks, months, years, decades, centuries, millennia. That's what reality is. A millennia of experiences, not just your fucking idiotic experiences.
Shiva again comes to mind. He's an ascetic and he's also an erotic.
He's an aesthetic and he's also an erotic. Whatever that means. So he fucks while he drives a cab. Is that it? That's not stupid at all. I do that all the time. I'm always fucking people at work.
Which is it? Both, maybe, I guess.
Yeah, right. That's the responsible approach to reality. Just put some sprinkle fairy tale dust on your science. It's good for you. Cotton fucking candy.
Now, there are strong elements of this in atheism as well.
There we go. See, it's just so fucking brilliant. Yes, there's sects of atheism, and there's the dogma of the magical Darwin evolution bomb thing, and then there's the evolution of evolutioning, or... Yeah, no, I don't think you can pervert evolution into 2006.
A lot of people sort of run out of steam, a lot of atheists, and I would call these people almost physicalists or people who worship scientism.
Yeah, realityists. Yeah, let's call them realityists. Yeah, those fucking realityists. How dare they mess up our fun?
I wouldn't say scientists, but you know what I mean.
No, I don't know what the fuck you mean. I really don't. So it's just plain silly to sit there and investigate the nature of our existence, the fact that our origin is really sucks. Okay, little crawly animals eating scuzz. We're descendant from scuzz eaters. It seems kind of maybe an important fact.
Who say that the only purpose of our existence is to pass on our DNA and that's it, and there's nothing else.
Well, it's not really a purpose, okay? It's the function. The only function of our existence, okay, is to be caught up in a cycle of crush, kill, and destroy to pass on a little magically special genetic code that's a tiny bit superior to the other fuckers, but only superior in some fucktarded way where you killed more than they did. Yes, we're annihilation machines. If you cheat better than everybody else, yes, you get to pass on your DNA. If you know, it's just it's a crude filter. Okay? You understand? If you had a water filter that worked like evolution, you wouldn't drink the water. That's how bad evolution's filter is. It doesn't filter out the best. It just filters out the most insidious. And of course, it filters for the most insidious think they're just the greatest thing on earth. I'm just all so fucking special.
To any of this. A lot of other atheists that I've spoken to say, oh, no, I just don't believe in God. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. And then I don't believe in anything. So I might as well be a non-believing in anythingist. Oh, I might as well be a wishy-washyist. Look, if you're an atheist and you don't believe in anything else, a replacement for God, all right? So you reject fables, but you don't accept rational deductions based on centuries of developing evidence, then you're a fucking idiot. Yeah, then you're a nothingist, a fucking idiotist, a I don't want to know the truthist. But you're not just an atheist then. You're something else.
That's my atheism. Whether or not that reflects something.
Yeah, it doesn't really mean anything, right? I mean, it's like saying, it's like being a mass murderer and saying, I'm not a rapist. I mean, it doesn't really make any sense. I mean, to call yourself an atheist when you don't have any belief system isn't really being honest. I mean, you don't, it's like I said, if you don't believe in either fables or science, okay, you're not an atheist. You're obnoxious to logic. You're you're illogical. You're a-sensible. You're a-intellectual.
The value of existence or the universe or whatever. Or whether or not, our purpose is to pass on our DNA or whatever. That really is.
Yeah, well, again, it's not really a purpose; it's a function. Okay, that's what biological organisms do. Is they pass on DNA. I'm here because I'm descended from a long line of conniving motherfucking cunts who weaseled survival out of the darkest ages of human existence. They were the ones who skipped town the first, when the plague hit. And they did all the things that were advantageous. So they're the ones that, they shit in somebody else's water and let somebody else die of cholera.
Nothing to do with my disbelief in God. These people actually are the atheists that I feel most at home with. I'm not an atheist, but I'm almost identical to those people.
Right, you're a wishy-washyist. We don't commit to any theory of reality. We just play the field. You're like the fucker in Catch-22, that little French weaselly guy, right? It's like when the Nazis showed up, we became Nazis. When the fascists showed up, we were fascists. And you're just a player, okay? And that's all you are. You're just a fucking conniving taker. All right, and you're doing it based on a fucking just totally owned, puppeted, fucking traditional notionary. You're just letting tradition pull your strings, pull your psychology into playing the game. And that's all you're doing. You're just so fucking owned.
We'll say, yeah, I don't believe in God, but, you know, it doesn't automatically mean that I believe that we live in a wholly physical universe that has no meaning or no purpose.
Well, I guess that means there must be a God. I mean, you don't get it, do you? You actually think that it's possible to call yourself an atheist or an adeist or an a-supernaturalist and then say, but I believe that the universe has a fundamental intelligence that just happened to exist forever. And that's not a God? Fuck, I mean, what a goddamn, why not just blow up why don't we just put vocabulary in a big pile somewhere and just drone the fuck out of it? Because none of you fuckers give a goddamn about the meaning of a goddamn word, do you? You'll just kill every fucking word, blow the integrity right out of the language. You're just such fucking weasels.
Nothing. That it's just a pile of mechanics and we're an accident.
You can't even have an accident. Okay, that's how fucktarded the universe is. It's too stupid to even have an accident. It's cause and effect without any guiding principle. No guiding principle whatsoever. No fucking rules except atomic rules, okay? Photon rules. That's the rules of the game. The photon says. That's the limit of its understanding of reality, its limits of what a foul could possibly be. It doesn't know that men have testicles and you shouldn't kick them in their testicles. It doesn't know that. So it can't throw a flag. It can't throw a flag when you cheat, when you lie, when you play your motherfucking little weaselly games. It can't do a goddamn thing to you. It will not strike you dead, okay, for this obnoxious insult to fucking goddamn intelligence, this scientism rhetoric. Okay, you should be struck dead. Okay, if the universe had a soul, if it had respect for intelligence, if it had any dignity, okay, it would zap you dead for this bullshit.
We may indeed be an accident, but I don't see the universe as just an empty physical place.
Yeah, I just don't, because it's just shit. You look up there, it's fucking full of little pieces of glitter that we understand to be fireballs that at any moment can supernova and shoot beams of gamma rays right up your ass. I just, I mean, look, 8 thumbs up. These are generally atheists watching this shit, I think. Maybe. Well, there are no atheists, right? There's only you're either there is just nothing. There's either asshole or antinatalist. That's it. There's the 2 categories of people: asshole and antinatalist. You either understand reality or you fucking don't. And if you understand reality, you're terrified and you're scared to death that somebody's gonna fucking let another one of these fucking monsters loose.
In my experience, there's simply too much evidence to the contrary.
Okay, too much evidence to the contrary. Can you believe this fucking statement? Too much evidence to the contrary that the universe is fucking vast empty space. I mean, zillions and zillions of parsecs of it, to use a Star Trek term, parsec after parsec of empty space, and then you bump into a rock, and then you go parsecs and parsecs and parsecs of space, and you find another molten rock. Fuck you. Evidence.
So,
I mean, really, 8 thumbs up. What fucking evidence for something other than a vast nothing? Not a single blink, not a wink, not a stink, not a bink, nothing. Again, let's remember, the universe is much older than the planet Earth. And if there was intelligent life out there, it had billions of years of a head start on us. Billions of fucking years head start. And it hasn't even blinked? I mean, it hasn't put anything in a bottle and sent it that away?
Wary of the type of atheist who resorts to scientism.
Oh, he said it again. Scientism. And what are the scientists doing? Quantum double eraser stringy dingy. Yeah, double eraser stringy dingy. Yeah, so you can't even say scientism because they've become a bunch of laughing stock religious kukarotkis anyway. The Copenhagen interpretation. Oh yeah, photons are riding on the fucking waves, baby. They're hanging 10, man. And then they figure out what the probability is and then they crash over there. Because photons are cool and they can see what you're doing. Hey, don't walk around in your underwear in the house because the photons will see you. Ha 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 ha. Fuck. Yeah, scientism. Oh, it's so scary. These scientism, they're all phantasmagorical pussies. Shit.
Physicalism.
Oh, there you go. Physicalism. There we go. Materialism. The believing that the universe is made of reality. How dare you? Yeah, and again, let's just say, even if you made the whole thing out of gummy bears, you can't change the fact of evolution. And there's nothing in the evidence of evolution to give you any hope whatsoever.
Because inevitably there's something in us, in my opinion, in humans, that seeks more than physicalism.
Yeah, whatever. It's in us. It's part of our nature to be irrational. So again, the glorifying of the irrationality. Like our intellect just can't overcome the banana-chasing apes' impulses. We're just incapable of disciplining ourselves and being the least bit devoted or attentive or responsible to the fucking truth. Fuck the truth. Okay, what's in it for me? God, you people suck.
We want something more. Nietzsche said it was the will to power.
Yeah, Nietzsche was an idiot.
People would say it's the will to meaning.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, the will of evasion, as Nietzsche did, right? I will complain about everybody else on Earth. I will backseat drive every fucking driver in the universe, but nobody sits in my backseat.
The will to meaning actually strikes me as something I would like to pursue, and I have always pursued it.
Yeah, exactly. And your meaning for you is, what's in it for me? I like Indian women. They give me a boner. Yeah, that's really profound, buddy. yeah, you're a real philosopher.
Although I agree with Nietzsche, you got to make up your own meaning.
Oh, there you go. Make it up. Don't worry about this idea that you have obligations or responsibilities. Don't worry about the torture and shit. It just happens. Yeah, it just happens. It's not our fault. We didn't do it, except we made it and we steered it and we put it there and we caused it, but it's not our fault. Fuck you.
I think the Hindus would agree with that.
Which one? Which sect of Hindus? The Hookabukas, or the Nickanickas, or the Jickajikas, or the Chukahukas, or Hookabukas? Which ones? Nope. The ones going like this? Ooh, yeah, wacky packy. Which ones? Or do they spin their hand this way? The ones who spin their hand clockwise, or the ones who spin their hand counterclockwise? Yeah, which Hindus would be for it?
Well, God is up there to give you meaning. That doesn't mean there is no meaning.
The meaning is, what's in it for me? Yeah, we've heard your sense of meaning. I don't have any responsibilities here whatsoever, and if I don't like a particular bit of evidence or where it's pointing, I'll just ignore that because it's to my convenience. Gee, you're just such a testament to the human fucking goddamn race. And you wonder why those wacky Indians are saying nuke the fucking shit into a fucking cinder because, yeah, these creatures absolutely suck. Alright, enough of that, fucker. So a little bit of relaxation. Mood shift. Now, on to Chicky Boo. Carrie McCarpet. Okay.
My oldest I don't really know the how. So that's where the gentler approach to reaching out to people comes in. Something like Veganuary shows people how to enjoy more meatless recipes in a safe and friendly way.
Okay, so what she's talking about is like, how do you convince people to be more responsible for their activity in the animal community? You know, to not be causing all this harm and doing all this, you know, kill, kill, choo, choo thing. And, you know, should you be just a hard vegan where you just show all the bloody pictures and say, you fucking murdering and torturing cunt? Or do you do some kind of thing, well, it's all good for your health and you'll feel so much better about yourself and it's really easy. I did it and I suck. I'm weak. I have no character whatsoever and I did it, so I think you can do it because you're a strong person. You really are. You really are a strong person. I'm a weak coward and I did it. You know, what approach? And so she's for the middle approach. You suck, but it's okay because I suck more, or something like that. I don't know. But the real argument I have with this is that she's sort of talking like, you know, there's this distinction between vegetarians and vegans, and how vegans should get vegetarians to come along. I didn't know they had explicit definitions of these things, but apparently a vegan is primarily defined as somebody who doesn't do the milk cheese thing, and eggs, which, you know, I haven't done anyway. But I've never really called myself vegan because it sounds like, you know, that's the kind of thing where, like, you don't even wear a shoe that has leather in it or something, or you go that crazy, and it's like, I can't be bothered I can't be bothered, all right, being a fanatic about it, because I know, okay, that nature is 5 million times worse. So again, you know, you have to understand that there's only so much of what we can control in terms of our personal damage, and every victim is important. So that's the thing you're acknowledging. It's like, you know, if there was 10 billion people starving, and, you know, you only had food for 10, you'd still give the 10 the food because it's 10 people, right? You know, or if you had a cure for a disease, and yeah, there was 1 million people that had the disease, and you only had 10 cures, you'd still do what you could. So being a vegetarian is doing what you could. But realistically, come on. I mean, if you're going to say that you've solved the problem, you know, by becoming a vegetarian, and say, okay, life will be okay now. We're going to take care of the earth and become vegetarian, and somehow it's all okay. No. Nature is an absolute slaughterhouse. And so you're a long way from the finish line. A long way from fixing the biggest of the problems on this planet. And it just seems like lip service. I mean, the antinatalists need to tell you vegans that you're not even fucking close. And then the ethalists need to tell the antinatalists, you're not even fucking close. Alright? The point is, you're not even fucking close. Okay? The real game, the professional game, is coming up with a solution to the natural problem. And you're not offering any of that. And I'll be back.
By providing that, how people might realize, I can do this quite easily. And for some people, it's only then that they'll be prepared to face the why. You see a lot of people who originally went...
Well, I think all this is just bullshit anyway. I really don't think it's that hard to do. So, again, especially now, there's just so much food out there to eat. You have so many damn choices that, yeah, I just don't... You know, you could shape your ice cream, you know, like a chicken wing. I mean, well, ice cream's a bad example. Your whatever the synthetic ice cream is. Let's say sherbet or something. You know, you can find so many things to eat. I mean, you can just eat Twinkies for fuck's sake. Well, yeah, that's vegetable oil. Yes, that's okay.
Vegan just for their health. Only start acknowledging animal cruelty involved in eating meat quite a long time after they've made the switch, because it's only then that they're emotionally able to. However,
well, that's a theory, but again, I don't know if that's, you know, it's, yeah, doing the right thing for the wrong reasons. It's good, but it sucks, right? It's just, you know, that's not the kind of cause fighter you want. You know why somebody's showing up for the war just because of the paycheck? You want them to actually understand that there's the bad guys are over there, and you're not just killing people for money, you're killing people because they need killing. I mean, you want to have a good reason to be killing people, and some other reason besides money. And your personal health isn't much of a fucking bargain you're making. I won't torture you for my personal advantage. I mean, that really sucks.
The gentle approach is not enough on its own. Sometimes I'll go on Twitter and I'll see Vegan Revolution making some really scathing and often funny comments about vegetarians who still eat eggs and drink milk or fish or whatever. And because if you drink milk, you may as well eat veal. That's where the veal industry comes from. That's one of the worst practices of all. So although I empathize with vegetarians, because I was one for years before giving up milk and eggs as well, I'm also quietly pleased that people like Vegan Revolution
okay, so right, so you're pleased, okay, that somebody forces you or encourages aggressively people to up their game. Well, I'm saying you need to up your game, okay? Life is the goddamn enemy here, okay? There's no way to play this game rationally, sensibly, logically, ethically. It can't be done, because every day you're breathing in the death of the biosphere, okay? The biosphere makes it all for you, and those are a bunch of organisms that if we annihilate the organisms, you're not going to be able to survive because you're adapted to eating their death. You're eating their biological suffering every day. And it's a lot worse than veal. It's a lot worse than manufactured milk making machines. It's the biggest of the Frankenstein monsters is nature itself. And I'm telling you, it's not just a little bit bigger, okay? It's humongously bigger, okay? It is gigantor, okay? Is the natural problem. It's so fucking monstrously huge. And, yeah, so you're really just, this is like Teletubby kind of bullshit. I mean, it's good that we're all going porridge and happy, friendly, but it's not even close if you think you want to prevent suffering on planet Earth. You're just dropping in the bucket. I mean, it's just a tear, one tear in, a swimming pool, right? So you cried a tear into the swimming pool. That is not going to fill it with water.
Game, because without that very harsh kind of mental coach, a lot of us would fall prey to complacency and think that our tokens...
Right, exactly. I think you've all fallen prey to complacency. You've all said, okay, well, I pet the kitty and I did this and that, and I've somehow solved disease and death on planet Earth. Well, you haven't.
Behavior was enough. Jurian Ryder's good at this. He's like, I am your father, and whilst you're living under my YouTube banner, you're going to observe what's right and wrong like a civilized human being. And he really makes you do that. So Jurian Ryder, Emily from Bite Size Vegan...
Right, okay, I'm just saying that you're just making the argument for me, right? That you people need all to get kicked in the ass or the vagina or whatever, because you're not really getting the picture, okay? You're one tier in the pit of horror, the desert of horror, and it's just not good enough. You got to do a lot better than this. If you want to protect things from suffering, well, you got to start going after the pregos. You got to start going after the ones creating the violence.
People like Gary Yourofsky are crucial, and I also think more friendly, more tokenistic. Not that they're not friendly, they are. But people who are taking a nicer kind of, probably less morally perfect approach, I think they are all...
Yeah, well, it's all lovely, yes. Let's all do recipes and stuff and pretend to make fake meat out of bananas. I just find that really... It's kind of disgusting in a way, right? I mean, if humans were cannibals and, they really enjoyed, a cooked human skull with eyeballs so they could scoop the eyeballs out because it was really fun, and then they went vegan, and they decided to make the vegan look like a skull with eyeballs... I mean, it's kind of tacky. I mean, just grow up, people, really. Yeah, I mean, it isn't that complicated. I mean, again, I mean, bread is about the most brilliant food ever. You know? There's so many things to eat.
Also required, because they introduce a lot of people onto this path who may be alienated by something stronger. I'm not saying let's not argue amongst ourselves, because it's important that we all argue as well, but I'm saying, you know, for me, I tend to be the type who's like, oh, just eat a healthier diet, just reduce your meat intake. If you ever do want to go vegan, I'll be here.
Well, yeah, see, and I don't even care, to tell you the truth. See, I mean, my argument would be, it's what you advocate. Alright? I don't even care. You don't have to become a fucking vegan. Just say, yeah, I understand that that's rationally the right course. That we should not condition kids to be, you know, chomping animal flesh. They don't need to do it. It's not healthy. No reason to make that the standard. Yes, I'm all for discouraging the creation of meat addicts, like heroin addicts and all these other kind of addicts. You don't raise kids watching dog fights. Why should you raise kids to eat fucking innocent animals, to torture them and eat them? Yeah, so all you have to do is be an advocate for a better future. The future is the game. The past is the past. You can't fix any of that. The present is only fucking this big. It's just so fucking small. And the future's everything.
With the fruit market, I've got an air fryer. You could have a look at that. But at the same time, I'm really grateful to those people who are more like, you know, if I ever catch you snaffling chipolatas again, I'm going to give you such a verbal spanking, because I have admiration for that different approach, even though it's less in my nature, I think, to do that. So,
Yes, whatever. Again, but you're just, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to mock you and give you a verbal spanking. You know, you're just falling way too short. You got to do a lot better than this if you're going to call yourself anti-torture. Okay? Because the humans aren't torture. Okay? They're not the definition of it. Nature is the definition of torture. And some of you fruitarians and you vegans seem to be all nature lovers, which doesn't make a whole lot of fucking goddamn sense. You're all in love with Gaia, and you're in love with the little green trees, blah, 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 blah. And you don't take any account for what that green tree is growing on, which is the dead humus of a bunch of suffering animals. You don't give a fuck about the 10,000 little baby octopuses that die so one can survive. You don't seem to give a fuck about the 10,000 baby sea turtles, okay, that never see their first date. They never get to go on a first date. Okay? No, their fucking eyeballs are pecked out by some fucking goddamn flying goddamn dinosaur descendant. So don't talk to me about torture and alleviation. This isn't the answer. It's step 1/2 of an inch. This is step 1/2 of an inch. Alright, you wanna get in the real game, you gotta start puking on goddamn pregnancy.
have a look at Emily's channel if you haven't already. It's very popular, and she has some great interviews with Gary Yourofsky on there too. I will link to Durian Rider and Vegan Revolution as well, even though you probably...
Yeah, the only problem with that Gary guy is, you know, no hair, so doesn't look all that healthy. But anyway, yeah, I'm a much better face for veganism. Yeah, but there's all kinds of, like, Olympic athletes and shit. There's all kinds of people who have just demonstrated that freaking goddamn it's the way to go for you personally. But again, that is just such a goddamn lame argument. Because I really don't want you profiting from not being a torturer. I mean, you should have to pay to prevent torture. You shouldn't personally profit from it. I mean, it's just irritating that people get the benefit of a healthier and longer life by not torturing. I mean, you really should have to sacrifice something to stop torture.
Already know them. And also have a look at the Vegan Buzz, which I've just set up to share things that might be useful to you. Thanks a lot for watching. And
yeah, whatever. The Vegan Buzz. It's probably all kinds of little greeny, happy little smiley faces. Everything's wonderful because we saved some veals and we saved some cows and some pigs and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, of course, we didn't give a fuck about the 10,000 little baby sea turtles and all the other fucking millions and trillions of sentient animals that are ground up in the goddamn natural Gaia every goddamn day. In the most insidious ways possible, parasites eating their brains and shit. We have no solution for that. We're just gonna cry a tear. Well, not good enough.
please subscribe if you want to see more videos, and I'll see you next time.
Okay, well, you are incredibly charming and all that, I must admit. But, yeah, this is a little bit not good enough. Yeah, that's what it is. So anyway, all this shit is just not good enough. The truth is, life is a miserable sack of shit. We are just deluded psychologies playing an ego game, chasing self-gratification and self-satisfaction with our, oh, I did good today. I really told those fucking nihilist motherfuckers, didn't I? Ooh, ooh, ooh. And I get to feel a little bit proud and a little bit like I'm accomplishing something. Oh, I really made a good art. Oh, and I made a good joke in there. And I really zinged them good. Blah, 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 blah. And we're just playing a fucking game. And everybody should just goddamn admit they're just playing a stupid, idiotic, psychological game. And there's torture going on for it. We're paying torture to do this stupid, idiotic, ego shit. And you ought to just all grow the fuck up and get the goddamn message that you don't have a right to torture anything. Ever. Fuckers. So yeah, fuck all you happy vegans. Alright? Fuck your tear. Fuck you. Do better.